This is part 1 of a new series I'm doing about trying to build the perfect roller coaster. And the first episode that I'm making right now is about an RMC iBox, specifically a Hyper Hybrid. This time lapse is going to be about 11.5 minutes long, and I worked really hard on this coaster. Afterward, I'm going to stay and do afterward I'm going to do a real-time style of thing, and then I'm going to okay, I'm lost. I'm going to do a real-time, and then I'm going to show POVs. But so what's going on in the layout here? I'm trying to build a bank speed hill. I did a slightly beyond vertical 200-foot drop, and now I was trying to make a big speed hill, and that's really nice, sort of like the one on Zadra. And this ride is heavily based off Zadra and Iron Gwazi. So the pre-lift section's kind of inspired by Steel Vengeance, because it has like a turn, and then it has like a couple of bunny hills. And right here, this outer bank took a lot of time to get right. I had to rebuild it 4 times. 3 or 4 times. And a bunch of times I tried to lower it, and I sort of got stuck, and I just kept rebuilding it. But this coaster is really big. It'd be the tallest hybrid coaster in the world if it was actually built. It's about 3 feet taller than Iron Gwazi and Zadra, or maybe 2 feet. It's 208 feet tall. So this right here for the outer bank ends up being the final design, and now goes into a ginormous camelback hill that is one of the strongest and most sustained airtime moments of all time, probably maybe the best part of the ride. And then this next element, I had some trouble doing it because I wanted to do some sort of double inverting stall with a outer bank turn, like the beginning one at the beginning. I don't know what I'm saying, but I want to do maybe a death roll on the way down, but that didn't work. And then I saw that the train rolled back, so I decided to reprofile it and make it upward barrel roll before it drops down. And then it will go up into some more elements that I'll make in just a minute. So now it goes into a double up that twists down on the exit. And I almost made this sort of like a helix with a stall or a death roll underneath. So I decided to make it go straight out of it instead. So next it rises up, and that goes into the death roll, which is a really good element. After I lower it, it has this crazy sort of drawn out pull out, which is Iron Gwazi. And then it goes up into this half airtime hill. And now I'm smoothing this whole beginning part. And then after this half airtime hill, it has a bunch of stuff going on that I'll explain in just a second. So in my voice reveal video, I mentioned that I'm going to be doing live streams every other Wednesday at 1 o'clock p.m. Central Time. And that starts on this Wednesday, which is, I'm pretty sure, the 12th of November, 2025. So you can be there if you're able to. And I'm going to be playing Planet Coaster 2 and Coastal, which is Whirl for coasters. And I'm really excited to do a live stream. And it's going to be really, really... So once I get that done, then I can record some more videos. So this is part 1 of the series I'm doing about building the perfect roller coaster. But what I just did here is I wanted to make sort of like a Steel Vengeance midsection after the upward barrel roll, where it has like that Outer Banked hill. So that one, it just like ran out of speed, so I couldn't do that. So I decided I wanted to have it go down and do like sort of a helix around like the bottom of the lift hill, but half the helix is a complete just outer bank like Iron Gwazi has around its station. So I did that, and it turned out really nice, and it's a really cool visual off-ride. And now the coaster part's almost done. Because you can see right there, I built a stall, and then I built like an overbank, outerbank thing, sort of like a reverse version of Wicked Cyclone. And now I'm building 2, like, turning floater hills. Maybe the first one's like closer to Flagector, but the second one is complete, just pure floater. So then you go back and forth, and you have this off-axis hill. And right here, I'm building that. But then I decided to change it and build the brake run. So right there, I build the brake run, and then I have a really hard time connecting. So I start by banking it that way, but then I bank it the other way, and then I do like an outer bank thing there before, then I want to bank it like around that way. So I decided I wanted to do that, but that doesn't work. So now I'm trying to connect it so that there's like a step up, and it will then lead up into the final outer bank and stuff. So the step up actually turns to provide laterals, and the whole thing, it just kind of flows perfectly together once the end is done, like the end product. So the coaster isn't perfectly smooth, as you'll see in the POV, but it's pretty well smoothed, and I'm fine with that. So here's the test of it, and now I'm going to go into all the other scenery and pads and stuff. So I first want to make it brown with like orange track, but then I think blue track, and then I want to do white supports. So then I do this trains, which look really cool, and then I do some white cross ties. So then I just sit here for a couple seconds, and then I don't know what I was doing there. And now I'm drawing a big plaza to go around the ride. And because of how long the pathing tool can go in this game, it's not really working. So that's something that Frontier should probably fix. So now, and then I'm fixing the end part there, and now I'm redoing that. And then once I start wanting to build like the sign in just a second, I am going to extend it. But here's the exit path going in. It goes kind of underneath the coaster. And the queue line drops down there with some stairs, has some switchbacks, and then it turns, goes underneath the coaster, some switchbacks next to the lift hill and pre-lift section next to that outer bank that I mentioned. And then it has the entrance right there. So my railings, I normally have them brown for some reason, but here I repainted them white, which I think looks really nice. And this pathway gets deleted at the end of the time lapse because there's like nothing to put back there. So here's where I'm expanding this, and that looks really cool. And now I'm building the entrance, like sort of garden sign thing. It looks really nice in my opinion. So I build the edges here, and then I fill it in. And the name for this coaster is Grazer. I don't know why I picked that name, but I think it sounds kind of cool, so I'm going to stick with it. And here are the corner flower beds going in, and then I place some edge ones. And this part is kind of boring. It's just me placing a bunch of flowers down. But right here, the sides aren't completely connected. So I have to select a bunch of stuff and then deselect a bunch of stuff so that I can then move the stuff over. I'm saying stuff a lot. It's just part of my vocabulary. So now I'm doing the letters, and this is when I decided to call it Grazer. And the letters almost don't even fit here. And one more thing that I mentioned. I'm making the vowels in the name blue, and the other parts are like a lightish gray. And I think it looks pretty good, with the blue being the track and the lightish gray being the supports. And there's about a minute left in the time lapse. So this is like me kind of looking at the coaster going around. Here I think of what to put there, but I'm like, no, I don't really want anything there. So here, I found this on the workshop. I can't remember who did it, but it's really nice. There's the ride, it's the ride wait sign. It's right there. And then I decided not to do like a big entrance thing, or like a fast pass line, so now I'm digging out the terrain. And then I'm just doing tons of trees around the edge. So then I just remove trees that are on the track because there's no setting in the scenery brush that makes it so that trees can't be on coaster track, which I think they should try to change in a future update, because that would save me a lot of time when building these coasters, because I have to remove a lot of the trees off the track. But here's the end of the time lapse. Thank you for watching this part, and I'll see you in real time. Okay, welcome to real time. Here I am, and this is the sign for Grazer, the RMC Hyper Hybrid that I made, that you probably saw the time lapse for. And I like how I made the vowels different colors, and the lift hill is really tall. So here's some amazing views of the coaster, and that's the ride entrance sign. But there goes through the double up and the death roll, which I really like how I profiled right there. So let's take a look at that. So the ride entrance sign looks really cool. Still can't remember the person that made it, but I don't know if I'll find out. And the operations are actually really good on this, because one train was going through the stall while the next was climbing up the lift hill. But the downside with that, as you'll see in a second, is that one train stops on the top of the lift, which is not that good for ride experience. But here we are going through the queue line. There's some switchbacks and a whole bunch of stuff like that. And then we climb up. And I'm not going to ride it because those are saved. That's saved for the POVs later. But yeah, let's go to the other side. And now we go down the exit path, which I really like the way it is. Now I'm running. The ride plaza is pretty big and empty, and that's part of the path that you can't walk through. I don't know if you're able to touch that. I don't know how safe that is, but you get really close to the pre-lift. And now you're back in the entrance plaza. And yeah, I love how the sign even looks in this backwards. Like the flower bed, it's not perfect, it's kind of sloppy, but it definitely looks really good from most points of view. And here's the helix thing around the lift hill with the outer bank in the middle of it. That's really nice. The sign has really nice texturing as well. And just the blue and the gray look really nice, exactly like the ride. And I've just realized you could change the colors of the flowers right before I recorded this real time, and it would have taken like 10 minutes to change the color, so I just decided not to. There it goes up to the top of the lift hill, and this is where it stops because of the fast operations, which aren't always a good thing. So it's about to go over and then stops. So it's about to go over in like 30 seconds. So there it goes. It's about to climb over once the next train that's right there on the block brakes passes. Okay, so now it's moving. And it gets yeeted down. The back has some insane airtime there. So that's kind of all for the real-time segment. Thank you so much for watching, And stay tuned for the POVs, which will be in just a minute. And please subscribe. Thank you for watching.